Dopamine is not the molecule of pleasure. That is a myth. Dopamine is the molecule of anticipation. It is the motivational salience, the itch that makes you reach for the phone, the drive that makes you crave the reward. Think of it as a biological pointer. It does not tell your brain that you are happy. It tells your brain that something potentially rewarding is about to happen. In nature, this system was designed for survival. It drove our ancestors to track a target for miles or to remember the exact location of a rare water source. But in 2026, we are living in a state of hyper-dopaminergic stimulation. We have decoupled the effort from the reward. Your ancestors had to hunt for hours to get a dopamine spike. You get it in milliseconds. A notification, a high-carb snack, a 15-second video. This constant bombardment creates a phenomenon called homeostasis. Your brain is always seeking balance. When you blast it with cheap dopamine, the brain compensates by turning down its sensitivity. It literally prunes your neural pathways and reduces the density of your D2 receptors. Look at this chart. Imagine a scale. On one side is pleasure, on the other is pain. They exist in a precarious balance. When you experience a massive spike of artificial pleasure, the brain puts a heavy weight on the pain side to bring the scale back to center. But the brain does not stop at the center. It overshoots. This is why, after a weekend of binging content, even the simplest task, like writing a single email, feels like climbing Mount Everest. Your brain is not broken. It is just recalibrated to a world that does not exist in nature. When your baseline dopamine drops below a certain threshold, you enter the pain-pleasure balance trap. Every high is followed by a deeper low. And the more you try to escape the low with more cheap dopamine, the further you push your baseline into the red zone. This leads to a state known as anhedonia, the inability to feel pleasure from normal, healthy activities. When you reach this point, the things you used to love, your hobbies, your work, even your relationships, start to feel gray and hollow. You are not depressed in the traditional sense. You are biologically overstimulated and undersensitive. To understand why this happens, we must look at the specific architecture of the nucleus accumbens. This is the brain's primary reward center. In a natural environment, dopamine spikes are sparse and hard-earned. But the digital world has created what scientists call supernormal stimuli. Think of it as a high-definition assault on your biology. Your brain cannot distinguish between a real-life achievement and the digital ghost of one. When you scroll through an endless feed, you are triggering a survival mechanism that was meant for gathering information in the wild. But because the information never ends, the dopamine loop never closes. This leads to signal-to-noise degradation. When the background noise of cheap stimulation is too high, your brain loses the ability to detect the subtle signals of real life, like the satisfaction of finishing a difficult book or the quiet joy of a sunset. You are not just tired, you are biologically deaf to low-intensity pleasure. But here is the good news. Your brain is plastic. It can be rewired. And the process starts with a total system blackout. Let us look at exactly how we are going to force your receptors to reset in Phase 2. Phase 1, the 48-hour neural fast. To reset your receptors, we have to create a dopamine vacuum. For the next 48 hours, you're going to remove every source of artificial stimulation. Rule number 1, total digital blackout. No social media, no YouTube, no Netflix. Your phone is no longer an entertainment device. It is a tool. Use it only for essential calls. If you can, turn it off completely. Rule number 2, zero processed inputs. This means no added sugar, no caffeine, and no highly processed foods. We want your blood sugar to stabilize so your brain can stop reacting to external spikes and start producing its own energy. Rule number 3, embracing the boredom. This is where most people fail. You will feel an intense urge to fill the silence. Do not. When you feel bored, your brain is finally starting to look for dopamine elsewhere. This is when neuroplasticity begins. Instead of scrolling, you may walk. You may write in a physical journal, or you may simply sit and think. There is another layer to this blackout. We are not just resetting receptors, we are reviving the prefrontal cortex. This is the CEO of your brain. It is responsible for logic, long-term planning, and, most importantly, impulse control. In a hyper-dopaminergic state, the connection between your emotional brain and your prefrontal cortex weakens. You become reactive rather than proactive. You don't decide to check your phone. Your hand moves before your conscious mind even registers the thought. During the first 24 hours of the neural fast, you will feel a literal mental fog. This is the prefrontal cortex trying to regain control over the limbic system. It is like a muscle that has been in a cast for years. The first few movements will be painful and clumsy. But by the second day, the fog begins to lift. This is the moment when your willpower stops being a finite resource and starts becoming a structural part of your identity. Listen closely. The goal here is not suffering. The goal is resensitization. By the end of the first 24 hours, your brain will protest. You will feel restless, irritable, and tired. This is a sign the protocol is working. Your D2 receptors are starting to wake up, searching for signals that are no longer there. By hour 40, something strange happens. A walk in the park feels incredibly vivid. A simple conversation becomes engaging. A book actually becomes readable again. You are lowering the noise so you can finally hear the signal. But once the 48 hours are over, you cannot simply go back to your old habits. You need a strategy to protect your new baseline. Let us move to phase 2, the rewiring. The 48-hour fast is the spark, but phase 2 is the fuel. Most people finish a detox and immediately run back to their old habits. Within 3 days, their receptors are boarded up again. To prevent this, you need to implement dopamine layering. Step 1, the golden hour. Never check your phone in the first hour of the day. 0 exceptions. Your brain is in an alpha state when you wake up, highly suggestible and fragile. Do not blast it with cortisol and world news. Protect your morning baseline. Step 2, use the 90-minute deep work protocol. High-intensity tasks must be done before you earn your first digital reward. Train your brain to view dopamine as a salary for work completed, not a loan taken out in advance. Step 3, manage your light environment. Blue light at night is a chemical signal to your brain that it is still midday. This disrupts your circadian rhythms and prevents the clearing of metabolic waste in your brain. Biohacking is not about doing everything at once. It is about understanding the first principles of your biology. If you follow this protocol, your brain is now more powerful than 99% of the population. You have the focus that others are losing every single day. But this is just the foundation. In our next investigation, we will look at the morning protocol, the specific 3-step sequence to trigger peak neural performance every single day. If you are ready to stop being a passenger in your own biology, subscribe and turn on notifications. Your brain is the most complex machine in the known universe. It is time you learned how to operate it. I am Neural Architecture, and this was the Dopamine Reset. See you in the next study.